Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by Joe Camera, who is here on behalf of the Astronomy Club. Well, Joe, it's so nice to meet you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So the Astronomy Club, I think we've interviewed them a couple of years ago. It's been a while. And of course, we've been really haven't been doing much over the last 18 months, but the sky is still there. The planets are still there. Everything is still there. We can always walk outside in our backyard and look up and still see all the wonderful things there is to see. But the Astronomy Club goes above and beyond that, even more so. Tell me a little bit about the Astronomy Club and what it's all about.
Very good. Well, I've been in Laguna Woods for 7 years, and I definitely want to pay respect to John Haig and Ellen Lamb, who were the two main load bearers of the club for many, many years since before I came here. And they did a wonderful job of doing three things: lining up guest speakers to come from NASA or the Orange County Astronomers Club and Griffith Observatory. John was really well connected for that. And then Ellen, God bless her, ran all the membership and the treasury and the organization. And what we typically do is meet on the third Wednesday of each month at Clubhouse 1 and have about a 1-hour lecture, and then have refreshments and beverages and sit around and talk, which is often as interesting as the presentation. So it's really been a treasure of Laguna Woods for 50 years now. The club was founded in 1971. And so this is the 50-year anniversary. And I'm so glad to have the opportunity to be here, because actually John and Ellen have decided that it's time for them to move on to other things. So we have a big gap as far as, well, like everything, there's a challenge to keep the club going now, which we very much want to do. And there's an opportunity to maybe reinvent ourselves a little bit too. So we're really looking for as many people to come next month and give us their input and interest and hopefully some energy to help us keep going.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because I do feel that over the years, I think the interest in astronomy somewhat went by the wayside for a while. I mean, we weren't really investing any money in exploring space. And then all of a sudden SpaceX came around, and now they're sending rocket ships. So it's kind of interesting how we have these private corporations that are actually participating, but exciting nonetheless.
Yes, it's great. In fact, you're right on that observation. It was almost tragic that, the United States led space manned flight, obviously, first to the moon and the strongest program. But really, our space shuttle program was disbanded 10 years ago. And we were in the dire state of having to pay Russia to launch our astronauts for us, just to get to low Earth orbit into the International Space Station. So we'll be talking about that some next month. That's going to be the topic of colonizing Mars. So
could you imagine? I can't even imagine. I watched that movie. Was it Martian? Great movie. Is it really going to be like that? You wonder.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be different than anybody knows. But that whole thirst for exploration, from Christopher Columbus to other people adventuring to the unknown, it's really an exciting time. Like you said, Elon Musk and folks are changing the world, and I'd put him as a front man, or not a front man. That's not the right definition, but he's, as far as the most accomplished, his vision. And then there's a lot of people with vision, but he has also the follow through to make things happen. Obviously, his track record's really exciting. So it's an exciting time. The whole world's kind of rediscovering the opportunity, and be nice if we can keep up with it.
Exactly. And then how about that rover? The rover landed, and now they've been getting all sorts of, I haven't heard much about that. Will that be some of your discussion as well?
Yes, for sure. That's Perseverance. That's roving around, highly autonomous. There's a 15-minute lag of the speed of light to, we can't give rudder orders there. It has to be somewhat thinking on its own. And then they've successfully launched Ingenuity, which is the drone that's flying around as well. So we know there's an atmosphere. We know we can move through it. And it's really exciting time.
Exactly. Well, let's talk a little bit about, what are some of the things you want to accomplish with the Astronomy Club?
Well, we're all blessed to be here in Laguna Woods, and I think that it's we have more leisure time, obviously, than many folks. And as far as our environment, I think, and I have a visual of a healthy brain, generally for the individual. We need restful sleep, which Laguna Woods facilitates that with our security system and our peace and quiet. And morning and night, the loudest thing around here is usually the birds chirping. So we've really got that covered. And then reactionary, getting some exercise in our daily routine, but then connecting to a higher energy, or realizing there's something much bigger than any of us individually. And I think astronomy can really facilitate that. In fact, I would say that's the golden nugget. We have 250 social clubs here, any interest from tennis to Zumba to ping pong. And but that connection of how the world changed when we were able to escape Earth's gravity and look back on ourselves. Apollo 8 in 1968 was able to look at our home from afar, and that really changed our whole mental psyche. That the Earth Day was established shortly after that, and the Environmental Protection Agency. And that visual of Earthrise, which is astronauts at the moon seeing the Earth come up above the horizon. Right. I could stare at that all day long, because we tend to get a lot of friction of our daily lives and struggling over things and running around and trying to get our tasks done. But when you bring that to mind, how we're really one family, the human species and our life experience is so common. And I feel fortunate. I served a few years in the U.S. Navy and had the opportunity to travel. Okay. And when you look at the world and move around and see how similar we are rather than different, there's people, it's human nature to see differences, but then there's some people that want to divide us, and they feel it gives them personal advantage to keep us divided. Right. And astronomy, really, I don't think I'm overstating it even. If you bring that to mind and realize there's only one race in the human race. And right. And taking some time out, maybe it's coming to our monthly meeting as a stimulus to get it going, but you hold that as a gem in your mind, that really we're all the same. We're blessed to be here. The time we get to be here is very short, and to appreciate it and make the most out of it, astronomy can help each of us do that.
Well, and also, looking at from that perspective, and the universe itself can bring all religions together, because, yes. At some point it all started where they looked into the sky and they realized certain things, what the sun meant, what the rising of the sun meant, and here you've got zodiac signs, right? Well, zodiac signs mean a lot of things to a lot of different people, regardless of where they come from.
Yes, and a lot of theology. In fact, there's a case can be made. In fact, that'll probably be a future presentation of how astronomy, actually direct observation of the cycles of the Earth, are integrated into theology. That you could argue it's the oldest religion, because there's caves in France, and they recently discovered some in Spain that they've carbon dated to about 40,000 years old. That they knew about the zodiacs. And the Old Testament about Moses saying it's time to stop worshiping the bull and blow the ram's horn. That's directly what the precession of the Earth, of close observation, that's basically an astronomical event. Yeah. And then Christ is often associated with the age of the fish, which is the Pisces that we're just leaving now. And now 2,000 years later, we're entering Aquarius, which is really kind of profound in a lot of ways, to connect both the past and the future of where we're going. So it's really a fascinating field.
Yeah, that's great. If you can combine all of that, because some people just follow astrology and then others just follow astronomy. So if you can somehow cross over, I think you would be able to appeal to a lot of different people, because as long as you do the two, then it kind of explains. And this is the kind of stuff that is intriguing to me, and always was intriguing to me when I was in school, because I took astronomy classes and learned about Galileo, and that was kind of hard, but nonetheless, it taught you a lot about the solar system and galaxies and things like that. And there really is a lot to learn. So tell me about the upcoming event that you are going to have and what you plan to do. And that's going to be in September.
Yes, September 15th will be our first gathering after 18 months due to the COVID timeout. So hopefully we get a lot of current members. We have about 70 members on our mailing list. And then I know Laguna Woods has a lot of new residents moving in. And if you can fit it on your calendar, we want to invite everybody to come out. We'll be talking about colonizing Mars, which should be an exciting field, both the technical challenges, the financial challenges, and the feasibility of it, and the potential, and who's moving with what capabilities. But beyond that, we want to do a review of the club and maybe refocus our priorities into 2022 as to what kind of content. I think I mentioned that we generally have meetings at Clubhouse 1, and then we have star parties at Clubhouse 5 that we darken the parking lot and have some telescopes set up and look at current astrological and astronomical phenomenon.
Yeah, well, it's heating up. It's getting a little warmer at night these days, so you guys can do that. As long as the wind stabilizes, you should be in good shape. Well, I love it. Well, thank you so much for the information. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure to be on. Thanks again. And everyone, please look for the flyers around the clubhouses, and hope to see everybody September 15th.
All right, awesome. And then, of course, if they want to get in touch with you, they can call you at 805-588-0163. And if they would like more information about the club itself, you have a YouTube channel, and that's Laguna Woods Astronomy Club. So thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, and we'll be right back after this.